before we start, patanawas ako sa akong mga estudyante. Asa naman yung uban? Wala naman i-on-on camera. Wala ko kakitaan yung akong mga estudyante. Kumusta man ang atong mga gipang-submit ng mga activities? Madaras lawas? Itong mga programming na itong exercises? Madaras lawas? Kaya ra? I do hope kaya ra. Those are standard nga mga activities usually required sa data structure nga subjects. Wa ni labi so ay kuwang sakto din atong target sa data structures kay pang trabaho man gud ni. Anyways, init pa man akong kape. Sige, thank you. So karon 24 na ta. So we will start with the screen sharing. Okay, so that we can go with the discussion today. Medyo stress man kayong trabaho, abe. So let's proceed to the next part, which talks about last part for the linear data structure is the list. So you can download the PowerPoint presentation in here. So let me open the PowerPoint presentation. So after this one, our next topics will be about nonlinear list. So nonlinear na ta by next meeting. So hopefully karon atong paningkamutan nga mahurot jud ni nato ang list kay para ining next meeting at least mahuman na dayon. So list is probably around 1.5 hour or 2 hours. So we'll try to take around 1.5 or murag duda na ko 1.5 or 2 hours. Sige. We're going to implement all. So let's proceed. So a list, although we have already implemented a similar approach with array and also linked lists. So let's try to focus on the specific list. So a general linear list is a list in which operations such as retrievals, insertions, changes, and deletions can be done anywhere in the list. So bisag asa kuno ta pwede maka-retrieve, meaning pwede ta magkuhag data. We can insert, we can change the values or even delete the values, of which we have already performed similarly in the arrays and linked lists. Sana buhat naman na nato sa linked list, sir. But of course, there are some improvements when we reach the abstract data type list. So that is at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the list. So we take note of the following rules of the list. So a list is an ordered collection of items. There is a designated first item or first element, second element, and so on. So ang nag-una og suod, first element dito siya sa, second element, third element, and so on. So items can be inserted and deleted at any position. So you can also insert at a given position. And items are identified from 1 to n. Now, the list has a common limitation sa, because unlike the other data structures, kani si list, when we try to insert an item, pwede man ta bisag asa mag-insert sa. So no worries. Pero og mag-insert ta, example na adi ni 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So kung mag-insert ta og naa sa last, no worries ra kay og mag-insert ta last, diri ra man nato i-insert sa ang 7. Kung mag-insert ta at the first location, like mag-insert ta diri og new value, let's say our value in here is 9 to be inserted. So sa list, kinahanglan nga atong ipang-move ang items one position to the right. Meaning, kani siya ato yun yung ibalhin din ha. Kani ato ibalhin diri, and so on. Ay para ma-vacant ni siya diri, mabalhin ang 1 din ha. Tapos diri nato ibutang ang 9. So aside from inserting in front, you can also insert at the middle or any area between the starting position and the last element. Sa pwede ta mag-insert po diri. So kung diri po ta mag-insert, we still need to move the items one position to the right starting from that identified position. Okay? So meaning we can have a function that will allow us to move the items one position to the right. When we are going to insert a particular item, we can call that function or method when we need to move the items one position to the right, because the problem is that when we have multiple items stored in our list, it would take certain amount of time for us to move the number of items one position to the right. Another possible problem in the list, aside from inserting, is during the deletion. When we try to delete items at the start or at any particular position in the middle of our list, we need to move the items also one position to the left. Example, if we try to remove the first element, then this location is blank. The list data structure does not allow a blank position in the list, meaning we need to move these items one position now to the left. Mao na iyang limitation. So kinahanglan atong ipang-move na sila one position to the left. If ever natay ipang remove. So we have insert and delete. Okay? So let's proceed. So basic operations, similar to the rest. So we have insert, used to add elements on the list, delete, used to remove an element from the list, retrieve, used to get the information related to an element without changing the structure of the list, and traversal is to traverse the list while applying a process to each element. So the list interface includes the following: Boolean, public Boolean add, which will add value to the list. So in general, this will add on the last location of the list. Then you have another method, public Boolean add, object item int I, where this is going to add the item at a particular position at I. And then you have add front, so this will add the item at the front. Then you have add rear, so this will add also the item to the rear. So this is similar, the add and the add rear. Parehara na sila sa. So if you can implement one, you can call the other one to perform the same task. So these are the insertions, and then you also have the deletions. So in the deletion, you have remove front, remove rear, and then you have remove a specific object, whether this object is found in the list, and you also have Boolean remove at a current position or at a specific position I. Meaning you can remove at location 1, location 10, and so on. And then you have also the following methods. So you have public object pick front. So meaning iya lang tanawon unsay naa sa front without removing the item at the front. Public object pick rear. So this will also pick at the last location, but it will not remove the item at that position. Then you also have public object item at. So this is similar to a pick, but the position where to pick is identified. So item at. Then you have contains. So this is similar to a search. Clear, which will empty the list. Size, which will return the number of elements of the list. Is empty, which returns true if the list has no elements and false otherwise. And then this is an additional method, which is an iterator, which is used to traverse the list. Now we take notes. Sir, wala lagi is full. Nakabantay mo wala is full. Why do you think wala is full ang list? Any ideas? Namo idea din na, guys? Nay mo tingog, wala. Hoy mo tingog. Walay ideas or guess? Link list? Nga naman di ay og link list, Ken? Anong walay is full ang atong list dinhi? Kay duol-duol atong answer ni Ken. Kay ang paspasan oy. Kay it's because nagamit og nodes. Yep, pwede. But the list can be implemented both array and linked list. Pwede siya implement sa array, pwede po siya implement sa linked list. Take note ana ha. So the simple answer nga nung wala siya is full is that we would allow our list to grow. If ever mapuno gani ang atong example, if we implement it in the linked list, why problema kay inig-implement nato sa linked list, di man jud to mapuno, di ba? Pero kung mo-implementa sa array, ang atong array kay usually fixed size. So may tabo, kung mapuno ang atong list, nya array ang i-implement, we allow it to grow. Meaning atong padak-an atong array kung mapuno siya. So it tells us nga kung mapuno gani siya, then we will try to double the size. Sa atong padak-an ang size. That's what an ordinary database will do. Kung mapuno gani ang database kanang nasa online, what the server will do is acquire a new database which is double the size. So similar to the list interface or sa list nga abstract data structure. Kung mapuno siya, pwede siya nato padak-an. Padak-an nato ang ato ang size sa atong list. So meaning na atay methods, additional methods nga wala sa atong interface, methods that we will call this one as reallocate. This will increase the size of the list every time that the list becomes full. And then aside from reallocate, we will have method that will shift right. Sa shift right atong gamiton kung ma-full na inig, insert na to og item. Or kung natay insert nga item at a specific position, ma-full naman. Shift left kung mag-delete ta og item. So natay shift right, shift left. And then the reallocate, additional methods. And then this one also, we will try to add it later kung napatay oras. That's the iterator. So with this, let me try to discard the changes. Let's go into our Eclipse IDE. So let me close the queue. Close na ako si queue ha. We will try to create a new let's try to create a new Java project. Anyways, let me just wait this one. Not responding. Lagi ni, dagan kay tagi open. Not responding na noon ta. So let me close the project, then create a new project. So let's try to create a new Java project. We'll call this one as the list. So again, this is the list data structure, and then of which we are going to add the list interface. So let me call this one as list. Okay, so in the list, para paspas, ako ning kopyahon ang list interface nga naa diri, akong i-paste diri sa ako ang paste diri ha. Okay, so itong paspasan. Okay, ato ara maning gi-copy ang atong interface. At we will implement the interface. Make sure that you are using the interface that I am sending to you ha. Ana may gamita. Ay mo pagbuhat og inyong interface. Mao na purpose sa interface kay para common taog code. Kung unsay naa din na sa interface, mao na gi-required. Yeah, let me try to. Oops. Okay, so that is, let me comment the iterator first ha. Ako saan i-comment kay papamanggutan nagbuhat sa iterator nga class. So with this, we have already the list interface. Now let's try to create the array implementation of the list. So let me try to create a new class. So this class is, we say, list array, which is the array implementation of the list data structure. So this will, okay. So this will implement the list. So implements list. So list array implements list. Of course, daghan yun ang siyang error. Kay daghan siyang error, kay daghan man siyang methods nga wala na implement. So let's try to look into the list. So for the list, we will be needing an array of items which we are going to store our list. So we say public, public naman lang. Private object, an array of items. And then we will also have private int last. So kana rang duha, wala na tong uban. Okay? So we will try to have the constructor. So this is our constructor. We say public list array int size, where size will be the size of array. The size of the array. So when you try to create an array, when we try to create a list, we have the option to create or to give a size. So what we will do is that we will try to verify the size parameter if the size in here is correct or not. Because there might be instances nga mohatag na siya 0 or negative nga value. So we can say if size is if size is greater than 0, then we can set the number of elements in our items. We can say items is equal to new object, an array of object with a given size. That is the size of this size value. Otherwise, if size is less than 0, so we can say else, and then we can just say items is equal to new object of size, maybe we can say 10. Now, kung di siya magtinarong sa size, then we will set it to 10. And then the last will be set initially to 0. So kung wala pa isulod, si last will be pointing to 0. Then we can have the default constructor. So you say public list array, wherein if the user will not be giving a particular size, then we'll just call the list array constructor with a parameter and send a value of this with a value of 10. So tawgon to nato nga constructor kaning nasa taas. Okay? And then I have mentioned earlier of the methods that will try to increase the size of the array. The method also that will be used to shift the contents one position to the right, and the methods that will be shifting the contents one position to the left. So that is our helper methods. So these are our helper methods. Ito ning unahon og-implement ang mga helper methods kay inigtawag na to later sa add og delete na sila daan. So the first one is the method that will increase the size of our array. So we say public void reallocate. Okay, so this method will increase the size of the list by 2, or this method will double the size of the list. Okay. So with this one, how we can do about the reallocate is that if you are given, let me open MS Paint. if we have an array that is already full, sa if this is our array that is full already, assuming that our array is just 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, kana sa kung 5 lang, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So, if example, puno na ni siya, na siya yung mga values din ha. If example, na siya values niya, mag-insert pa jud kag lain. So, the concept of reallocate is that magbuhat tag array nga double sa size atong original nga array. So, kung kani siya 5, dapat magbuhat tag array nga ang size 10. So dapat natay array nga size og 10. Tapos inig makabuhat aning array kana tanan nga values, mao man ni ang atong items sa mao ni ang atong items nga array. Yeah, let's say this is our temp. So ang atong buhaton magbuhat tag temp nga double sa size ni items. Tapos ang tanan nga naa ni items atong i-copy ni temp. So dapat ma 1, 2, 4, 7, 8 ni siya. Nya dayon si items nga instead nag-point din ha si items dili na nato pa-pointon din na si item atong pa-pointon diri ay para si items mabalhin siya padung diri. Okay? Si items mabalhin din na meaning mo double ang size sa ato ang array. And that is what we call as reallocate. So magbuhat tag objects object array nga gitawag natog temp. So we say object temp which is equal to new object. Unsa may size niya? Double sa size sa items. So we say this is items that length kung pilay sukod atong items nato atong i-times 2 times 2. Nakabuhat na tag temp nga double sa size sa ato ang items. Karon magbuhat tag loop kay para atong ipang-copy itong value. So for I equal to 0 while I is less than the value last. Or you can also say while I is equal to items that length. Then you can say I plus plus. For which we'll just try to copy the values from items to temp. So temp index I is equal to items index I. After which we'll just set items equal to temp. Nasabtan ang reallocate. So akong bibalik ha, natay items, mao ni atong items. Nagbuhat tag temp nga double sa size ni items. Tapos atong i-copy tag sa ang values. Pag human si items atong gibalhin diri sa temp. Mao na. Copy? Kopya, nakuha. Any question so far? With the helper method, reallocate. Walay problem? Uy, wala day I sa dapat minuta. Int I. Papam na na-create si I. Tapos, another helper method is the shift right. So, this method will shift the contents one position to the right given a specified starting position. Okay. So example. Ako na ning tagtangon na, wala na sila gamit ha. Kanilang atong array. This is our items array. So kung naa diri 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, nya naa diri si last. So akong buhaton is that we will move the items one position to the right. Starting at, dirita mag-insert. Example, mag-insert ta diri bago nga value. So, meaning, dirita dapita mag-shift. One position to the right. So, nga na siya ang concept ha. So, mingon ko diri public void shift right. Given a particular position, might be we can say in pos, or that is the position. Or if you want, you can use also I variable. Basta na I position nga gi-identify asa ta magsugod og shift right. So with this, what I'll be doing is that I will try to create an array for int I which will be equivalent to the last value minus 1. Anong last minus 1, sir? Mamani akong lasa. So magbuhat ko variable nga I. Magbuhat ko I. Si I nagsugod diri dapita. Kung mani ang last, si I ako ibutang din ha. Unsa may akong buhaton? Ang naa sa I, akong ibalhin padung dito sa I plus 1. Tanawa. Mao ni si I plus 1. So ang 8 akong i-copy padung diri. Si 7 ako i-copy padung diri. Si 4 ako i-copy padung diri. So ang akong I mo atras padung dito sa given position. Mao ni ang pos nga gihatag na asa ta magsugod og shift right. Copy? Si I gikan sa last minus 1, ako siyang i-set while I is greater than or equal to the given position. Then I'll say I minus minus kay si I panaog man. Okay, so with this I'll try to say items index I plus 1 is equivalent to items at index I. Copy, nakuha. And then, mabalhin na sila tanan, mabalhin ang 2 diri, mabalhin ang 1 diri sa. And then, silas, akong ibalhin diri silas. Akong plasan og 1. Kaya na naman diri ang last karon, wala naman dinhi. So, mingon ko last plus plus. So this method will shift the contents one position to the right. How about the next method that will shift the contents to the left? So mingon ko public void shift left in position. Okay, so again, let's copy this one. Paste it in here. So this method will shift the contents one position to the left. Given a starting position. So si shift left, gamito ni siya kung natay i-delete sa items sa atong items array sa. Example, natay i-delete. So let me try to remove the markings in here. Ang naitabo, naadari ang ako ang last. Tapos, let's say for example, akong i-delete si 2. So si 2 natangtang, mawagtang si 2. So akong buhaton is that the items at this location will be moved one position sa padung dinhi. So nga na siya. Ang naa dinhi, nagsugod, akong ibalhin padung diri sa left. So kung buhaton ako'y I, nadiri ang position sa, mani ang position nga gidelete, ang location nga gitangtangan. So si I, akong i-point dining dapita, nya dayon akong ipangbalhin diri. So ang 4 dapat makopy dinhi, ang 7 makopy dinhi, ang 8 makopy dinhi. Nya si I, ako nang padaganon dito para makopy na nako. Niguman si last, akong kuano gusa. Para mawagtang na siya. Si last na nadiri mag-point. So I will say in here, for int I, which will be equal to the position while I is less than or equal to last. Saan na siya? Last. Less than last, I plus plus. And then I will say items at I is equal to items at I plus 1. Para mabalhin to siya ang naa sa front, one position to the left. And then I can say, pag kinalasan si last, akong ibalhin diri one position, last, minus, minus. Pasabtan ang shift right o shift left. Any questions so far? Questions? Nay pangutana? Nasabtan ra, shift right, shift left, o reallocate? So karon ato natong sugdan na ni nato ang mga methods na nasa ato ang interface. Dagan kaayo. Ilang? Dilagdagan ato rin ng mahurot. Sige. Rito sa ubos. Okay, asa na ta? Okay. So add item. So public boolean add item. So this will add an item sa, so we say boolean retval. Initially set this one to false. So kanus aman ta pwede maka-add og item. Ako estudyante din na, one am ni tingog-tingog akong estudyante. May pamto akong estudyante sa Banilad, maningog man. Ha? Kanus ata pwede maka-add og item? Maka-add tag item kung dili puno. Sakay kung puno ato sang padak-an. So mingon ta diri checking if the list is full. If it is full, then we will try to reallocate. So if full, then reallocate. Sabihin ko, if, unya, wala man tayo is full nga method, sir. So meaning, we can use another approach. So we can use this approach. So if the last variable is equal to items.length, kung si last gani equal sa items.length, meaning it is full. So if it is full, then we will try to reallocate. So we say reallocate. 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 So asa man sa reallocate kani? Oh. Iyan na ng padak-an. Iniguman og padako, then we can now insert the item. We can now insert the items. How to insert the item? We would say items array at the position last plus plus. So awahita mo plus plus sa last ha, kay ato sang ibutang ditong item before nato ibalhin si last is equal to the item. So after which si retval atong i-true, retval equals to true, that is a confirmation nga naka-add ta, and then return retval. So walay instances nga mapuno sa, kay inig mapuno iya mang padak-an. So that is adds value to the list. So by the way, this add is similar to the add at the rear. So kani si add rear, pareha ni sila ato. Akong tawgon, kung add rear, tawgon ako si add. Pwede na siya. So again, sa akong add rear, tawgon ako si add. So mingon ra ko, return, okay, so mingon ra ko diri, return, add, niya akong ipadala ang item dinhi. Tanawa, ang akong add rear, mingon ra ko return, add item. So si add item, ano ni? Siya. Gitawag ra nako. Kung unsay ma-return ana niya, i-return po na diri sa add rear. Questions? Any clarifications? Wa may maningog? May question? Wa jud question? Isa kay na ni chat ha. O man jud maningog gani akong estudyante. Ingog sad mo para makakuan ta. Maka-confirm ta kung nasabtan. Sige, padayon ko ha. So, add up front. O, kani add front may atong unahon. So, in adding at front, okay, so unto man tayo itong buhaton kung nata diri sa front. Check sa anato, kung dili pa full, kaningon ta, boolean, setval, initially set to false. So, if, is full naman nun, if class is equal to items.length, kung puno, then I will say reallocate. Okay, kung dili puno, so padayon rata. Akong buhaton is that I will shift right the contents one position starting at asa man ko magsugod og shift right kung adto ko sa front mag-add og object. Asa nga index ko mag shift right og sugod?
Kinalasan, sir.
Sa kinaunhan.
Ano?
Oo. Sa kinalasan ko magsugod og shift right pero internally adto jud ko gikan sa position 0. Dapat mabalhin sila dito sa kinalasan. I will say shift right. Ang akong position ihatag is 0. So kay para ma-move to ang items one position to the right starting at index 0. And then mingon ko kay sa front man ko mag-add, mingon ko items index 0 akong i-add ang item na ani parameter. Inig kahuman nag items index 0 is equal to item, then I will try to increase the last plus plus, and then edi nag last plus plus naman di ay nasa shift right. No need na ako mag last plus plus din kay shift right nag last plus plus na to dito. Yan atong giplasan si last. So ingon na lang ko diri retval equals to true. And then return retval. Tuman lang si add front. Ayun ra jud basta naa ta atong helper methods na nabuhat na. How about the next method which will add the object item into a particular location I. So if it is a given a particular location, so we will do the same thing. So we will have Boolean retval initially set to false. So we check if it is full. So if class is equal to items.length, then we will try to reallocate. So that is reallocate kung puno na. Kung dili puno, then atong tan-awon kung ang I niya is correct or not. Sa kay kung si I dili gani correct, dapat mo feedback ta. Sumingon ta if I na siya. If I so na to pagkuan nga sakto ang I. So possibly kung si I naa sa kinalasan, kung ang I naa in between sa 0 until sa last location, o kung negative nga I. So what if naa siya sa kinalasan gi-insert? Kung naa siya sa kinalasan, mingon ko if I is equal to last, kung I is equal to last, then I will try to add the item mingon ko retval is equal to add the item. Yung kaman is add items. Si add, katamaning mo add sa rare kana mo add man ni sa rare. So, ako rang iset si retval equals to add item. Otherwise, mingon ko if I is not equal to last, so I will check else if I is in between the range of sana siya. If it is in between the range of I to last minus 1. So if I is equal to greater than or equal to 0 and I is less than last. Kung less than sa last. basta dapat greater than or equal to 0 or less than last. Then I will try to move the items first. Kung asa na dapita si I, dapat akong i-move dito. So shift right sa ako given the location at I. And then after shifting the ano man yung I and I is less than last. Else if I is greater than 0 and I is less than last, meaning in between siya na sinugdanan until probably before the last element. So mingon ako din ha kung i-add ang items sa items index I ang item. Tapos retval is equal to true. Otherwise, kung si I gani kay invalid gani nga location, meaning negative siya or layo kayo siya nga location sa nga out of range siya, meaning dapat mo confirm siya nga error to siya or invalid location. So else mingon ta system.out.print ln invalid location. After which mingon ta retval is return retval. That is the add item at a given position. Nasabtan? Na ay pangutana? Nasabtan? Wala. Okay ra? So atong i-verify ha kung na-perform na ba na niya tanan. So magbutang sa ako og string to string diri kay para ma-print na ako. Suming ko public string to string. Tapos mingon ko sa to string buffer SB equals to new string buffer. Tapos may ko sb.append open close. Tapos copy paste sb.append anasa. And then in between magbutang kog loop nga mo traverse from I equal to 0 while I is less than last. And then I can say I plus plus. And then I would say in here sb.append that is items index I para ma-add to ang item. Tapos mingon ko if I is less than last minus 1, and I can say sb.append butang ko og kama sa kama. So I guess kadaghan naman na nato gi perform ang string to string. So murag nakuha na gid ninyo din ha. And then lastly is to return sb.toString. Yeah. Okay, so this is now the add object item. Add. So wala pa ning uban. So let me try to go into the queue. Ito tas queue, kay namdum mo atong gibuhat sa queue, asa tong queue nga test. Kanito sa queue nga test. Oh, kani siya naman siya menu. So I'll try to copy all of this. I'll try to create a new source code in the list class. This is now my test list. Okay, so I'll try to say finish. Okay, so let me try to replace that one with the test list. So katong gikan sa queue, akong gi-copy, butang ra na ako diri. Akong gilisag test list. Tapos ako na ni-close og balik ang Q. Okay? So karon maingon ako, this is now not Q array, this is the list array. So this is now L1 new list array. So this is list array of size 5. Boolean flag, choice, item. So this is now the list ADT, list abstract data type. So I'll try to have sa itong mga methods. So add item at a specific position. So this is add at a specific position. And then add at front, add at rear. So add front, add rear, display list. Daghan na ni sila. Sa? So, okay. Daghan man tag methods. So napatay remove front, remove rear. Sige. Atong i-copy. Remove front, remove rear. So atong i-copy ha. Paste din na. So this is now number 6. Remove. Tapos, remove front, remove rear. So remove front. Number 7 is, this is now remove rear. Remove a given object. Tapos na-remove diri na-I. So ato na lang himong remove at a specific position. Remove at. So mingon ta diri sa number 8. Number 8 is remove. Number 9 is remove at a given position. Sunod na tayo 10. Ang 10 kay pick front, pick rear, og item at. So this is pick front, copy, paste. 11 is pick rear. 12 is item at. And then contains and clear. So we have 13 contains. 13, 14 is clear all, yes. And then size and is empty. So 15 is the gana. 15 is size. And then 16 is empty. Natay iterator. So niya na lang na iterator. 17 is exit. Naghanag yun. Okay. Paging anito ninyo yung uban nga codes. Uban, kay wadyo nagbuhat og menu. Nag-check ko sa exercises. So, number 1 is add. So, mingon ni dere, please insert an item to be added. So, this is now L1. L1.add item. So, item successfully added. This is add. Number 2 kay add at a specific position. So, add at a specific position. So, L1.add item and int I. So dapat dinhi mangayo tag item na mangayo po tag position. So please enter item to be inserted. Please enter location. Location kung asa i-insert sa location. Asa na i-insert ang item? Location. So we will try to have a variable location, say loc. Ba tayo loc? Wala. Mag-add tag location. So int loc, that is the location. So L1 dot add sa nasa itong prototype item og I. So the I is the location. L1 dot add the item and a given location. So please enter item to be inserted and the location asa siya insert. So atong tawagon si add and then we can say added item successfully added. Item successfully added. Okay. And then you have add at front. So this one is add at front. So in adding front, we will still also ask the item to be added. Mga ito sa item nga i-add and then we will say if add front. So if L1.add front. Butang ta add front tapos atong i-add front ang item. So if it is successful, this will return true and then it will display item added successfully added. Add front, so natay add front na punta ay add rare. So add rare, the same concept. So we will copy this one, paste it in here. So please enter item to be added. So instead of add front, this will now be add rare. So please enter item to be inserted at the rear. And then this one is at the other one is at the front. The front. Okay? Natay add front, add rear. Display. So ang atong i-display si L1. Ang clear, this is 17. Clear. L1, that clear. Exit. So this is list is successfully cleared. Ang clear, wala pa din ma-implement ang clear sa. Ato lang sa ni ipang comment kaning naa dinhi. Ano i-comment until there is last. Ay para nya kaning clear wala pa pud ni. Okay. Para di ta ma-hassle inig abot diri sa ato ang implementation sa testing. So gikan diri sa remove wala pa ni ato lang i-testing. Okay. So again, puro pa ni add ha atong gitestingan. Add. Let's try to compile and run. Oops. No recent launches. Aday diri ang atong main. F11 testing the application. Tara, so add. So una, 5 display. So display, di makita sa, walay sulod. Tapos mag-add ta, enter item to be added. So let's say mag-add tag 10. Ingon siya, item added successfully. Tapos mag-add na po ko 20. So if I try to display, this is now 10 and 20. 10 and 20. So let me add front. So mag-add ko sa front og 30. So add front is number 3. So 3. I will try to add 30. Added successfully. So now we can display. That's now 30, 10, 20. So let's say I will add at the rear. So number 4, add at rear 40. Okay, so item added successfully and then display, anara. 30, 10, 20, 40. Mag-add na po kuglain nga value. Let's say I will add 50. So adding 50, as ito, 50. Yes, list item added successfully and then display. And i-display 30, 10, 20, 30, 30, 10, 20, 40, 50. Take note sa nga, pagbuhat na ko diri sa akong array, 5 ra na 5 ra na ang size. So karon mag-add na pug kuglain. So let's say I will mag-add ko og 60 o ni add gyapon siya sa bisag puno na kay nga naman iya mang gi-reallocate nahimo na na siyang double the size, nahimo na siyang 10. So pag add na kog 60, pag display na ako, na 60. Okay? Na 60. Sige. So any clarification so far with the add methods? Walay questions, clarification? So, atong i-implement na ning uban ha, atong na ning implement. Sige. Let me remove the comments. So, atong unahon ning mga sayon. Size. So, may atong i-return sa size. Returns the number of elements in the list.
Link, sir.
Return last.
Items that link.
Lastra. Last. Thank you, Marwin. Lastra. Kaya number of elements raman, pila ka buok ang actual nga sulod. This is the actual content. Is empty. Public boolean is empty. So si is empty. This will return if last is equal to 0. So if last is equal to 0, this will return true. How about clear? So kani si clear. Yara man tong i-empty ang atoang array sa. So unsa may buhaton kung atong i-empty ang atoang array. Ato ra ni papointon tanan into null. Papointon ni nato null tapos si last atong i-set to 0. So we will try to have a for loop for int I equal to 0 while I is less than plus. Then we say I plus plus. And then each content in our items array, items index I, will just be set to null. Null. Tapos we will set last is equal to 0 para ma-clear na sila tanan. Nakuha ang clear. Sayon ra ang clear. Size of last is empty. So, kani si pick front o pick rear. So si pick front, sayon raman tad ni sa, this returns the item at the beginning of the list. Dapat lang maka-pick front ta, dapat lang dili empty ang atuang list. Okay, unsaon man niya pag pick front kung empty? So dapat atong i-check first kung empty or not. So mingon ta if is not is empty, kung dili is empty, then we will try to return the item at the front. So mingon ta return items at index 0 para maka-return ta og value. Otherwise, else, kung empty gani, then we will say else empty man siya. So ang atong i-return null, meaning empty na siya. How about pick rare? Pick rare. So sa pick rare, katong nas kinalasan sa mingon ratag same concept sa pick front. So ato sang i-check kung dili empty. So if not is empty. Kung dili siya empty, so atong buhaton, atong i-return ang items nga naa sa plus minus 1. Plus minus 1. Tapos mingon ta kung empty gani, else return null. Okay, so pick front o pick rear. Masayon man ang giuna. Sige, so how about the item at allocation I? So given an item at, so ato sang i-check kung empty ba or dili. So if not is empty, so kung dili empty, then we will check if I is a valid location or not. So i-check sa nato kung valid ba na ang location si I. So mingon ta if I is less than last and I is greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0. Meaning, we can return a given value. So we can say return items at I. Pero kung si I gani kay invalid, kung dili gani valid si I, so mingon rata else return null. Another one, kung kani siya sa if I is invalid. The location is invalid. And then the other one, else, kung empty siya. So this is return null. So this one will if the list is empty. Okay. Nasabtan ang item at? Nasabtan ang item at? I do hope nasabtan ha. Sunod is the contains. Anong do mo ato katong contains nga atong katong search mura ra man ni siya search, di ba? Katong search nga atong gi-implement, katong mo return og position inigpangita nato niya. That was the method get position sa. So if you have recalled the get position, this is how we implement the get position. So going now to our helper methods, asa to atong helper methods? Kanisa shift left, so mag-add ta diri the get position method. Unsa to? Public int get position even a particular item. So we say unsa na object item. So this method will, the description niya, this method will return the will search the item. Will search the item in the list. So this method will search the item in the list if wala makitaan. So will return a negative value, -1, if the item is not in the list. Otherwise, if it is in the list, this will return the location of the item. Kumana si public int get position. So magbuhat ta og post nga variable. So in post, which we will set initially to -1. Atong i-manual search, ato i-compare tagsa-tagsa ang item na atong gipangita with this item. So for int I equal to 0 while I is less than last, I plus plus. So unsa atong buhaton? Ato ra i-check ang items. So if items index I, atong i-compare ani nga item. So kung mag-compare gani tag object, ang atong gamiton is the dot equals method. Kung object ang i-compare, dili katong duha ka equal, dili ing ani. Kay ing ana, we are just trying to compare ordinary integer or floating point values. What we are trying to compare are objects. So we say dot equals. Take note ha, kung mag-compare og object, use the dot equals. So si items index I atong i-compare sa item kung parehas. Kung parehas gani, then what we'll be doing is that we will say post is equal to I. And then break. Muundang na ko sa loop. Dili na ko mangita. Nakita naman ako, post is equal to I. Undang na ko pangita. Tapos, mingon na lang ko diri return post. Pero kung di na niya makitaan, maabot din na siya dito sa kinalasan. Kung pagid na siya sa kinalasan, stop na siya pangita, post will be -1. So it will return a negative value. So kani si get position, ako ning gamiton during the contains. So si contains will return true if the item is in the list. So akong tawagon to get position, if it will return a -1 value, meaning wala siya dinha. Pero kung dili gani equal sa -1, meaning the item is contained the item is found in the list. So mingon ako return get position. Padala na ko si item if it is not equal to -1. Kung dili ganina mo equal og -1, so that is the item is found in the list. Pero kung equal ganito -1, then the item is not in the list. Sabtan? Nasabtan or pas ra? Nasabtan ra? So asa man ni atong itong butang. So is empty kay 16 to sa? Sa maning exit? Ang exit 17. 17 ang exit. Ang clear all kay 14. Nananing clear. Tapos 15, 16, 17. Butang ta diri 15, 16, 17. So 15, 16, ano na may 17. Butang pa mo kung 17. So si 15 o si 16, 15 is size, 16 is empty. So si size ni tapos is empty. Sumingon ko size, sumingon ko diri ang akong i-return is sumingon ko diri size tapos ang akong i-return is L1.size. How about size? How about is empty? So mayroon ko is empty. So mingon siya true or false. So dapat mingon ta diri L1 that is empty. Wala na ning clear. Okay? So size is empty. Sunod, contains C13. Contains 13. So contains C13. So 13 is contains. Wala ni si clear. So yung ko mga isa kong item nga kung pangitaon sa please enter item to be searched. Search. In the list ra diretso. Item to be searched. This item to be searched sa mingon din ko contains plus contains ano siya? Contains plus item plus question mark colon. Does it contains, example, contains 20, so contains 20. So plus, this will say L1 that contains the object item. Yawa sa daning masayop tag-encode ni. Palit mag so L1 that contains. Sige. So after contains, unsa pa may sunod? So item pick front, pick rear, and item at. So pick front. So si 11, 10, 11, 12. So 10, 11, 12. So case 10 is pick front. So this is pick front. So si pick front, mingon rata, front, tapos mingon ta L1 that pick front. O muna na siya, pick front. Sunod, case 11, pick rear. So mingon ta rear, the L1 that pick rear. Item at. So meaning natay specified nga location para tan-aw nato unsay item na didto. Case 12, this is item at. So mga isa tag item. So we say mga isa tag location. Please enter location to pick. So mingon tag loc, that is the location ang atong pangita, ang atong i-pick sa, and then we will say system.out.print break. So mingon tag item at location. So mingon tag plus loc item at location plus loc plus colon sa L1 dot item at, and then we will send a location loc. Nasabtan? Okay na? Pick front, pick rear, item at. Dagan lagi na. Sa arin na ta sunod sa aning mga remove. Unsa man ang mga remove? 6, 7, 8, 9. Remove front, remove rear, remove at. Sige. So remove. Sama ni si remove. Tara, remove front. Kung sa ganito, kanus ata pwedeng makaremove? Makaremove ta kung naay sulod. Kung walay sulod, dili ta pwede mo remove. So remove front, i-check sa nato kung dili ba empty. Yung Boolean retval, set this one to false. If dili empty, so if not is empty, meaning pwede ta makaremove. Pero kung empty, dili ta makaremove. Kung dili siya empty, we will try to remove at front. Kung saan to nato pag-remove sa front, atong i-shift ang items one position to the left, starting at index 0. So we would say shift left at 0, at index 0, tapos iniguman og shift left, nabalhin na tong mga items, wagtang na tong kinaunhan, ingon rata retval is equal to true. Then, return retval. Wala lang tayo confirmation nga empty ba or dili. So you can also add a confirmation nga empty ba or dili. So you can say else system.out.println the list is empty, cannot remove. Questions with remove front, println. Questions with remove front. Mga tug man tingin ako estudyante, wa man maningog. Guys? Guys, napa mo din ha? Guys, napa mo din ha, guys?
Sir.
Masig, lami na kayo yung haguk-haguk na, wala mo'y tingog-tingog. Remove at rare. Remove at rare. The same concept. Pero adto ta mag-remove sa rare. Nya dili na ta mag-shift og left. Instead of shifting the contents to the left, tangtangon diretso. Sumingon ko diri Boolean retval. Set this one to false. If dili empty, if not is empty, then I can remove the item at the last. So how to remove the item at the last? I can say right away, items index last minus 1. Saan na siya ha? Last minus 1. Okay, si last. Tuwa man na, nag-una man na, nagabanti man na. Last minus 1. At itong i-point to null, then I will try to say last minus minus. Last minus minus retval equals true. Pero kung empty, mana na ibalik na ni. Copy, paste. Kung empty, so the list is empty, cannot remove. You can also have a much simplified version of this one. Pwede man tingali nga niyon. Items index minus minus last equal to null. Yeah, this is the much simplified version. Instead of kaning duha, kanina lang usa. Kanina lang usa. Pwede na siya. Yeah, pwede. Pwede. Kay minusan ni mo daan si last, tapos i-point siya to null. Kay si last nag-una mo na siya usa. Mani imong last nga item gyud, si last na diri sa one position nag-una. Okay? So that is remove rare. Remove rare. And then next one is remove an item from the list. So provided that the item is in the list, dapat ato sa nang i-search ang item para ma-remove na nato. Okay, so the same concept in here. So I can say Boolean retval, set this one to false. So if not is empty, so kung dili empty, what I'll try to do is I will search the item kung naa ba na siya sa list. Okay, kung naa siya sa list, then I will remove that item. Otherwise, if wala siya sa list, then I cannot remove it in the list. So mingon ko diri kung saan ako yung position sa or kung naa ba siya din ha. If contains. So mingon ko if contains. So kana nga item naa ba na sa ako ang list. So mingon ko if contains item. So akong pangitaon ang item, kung nana ang item din, then I will delete that item. So sana ko pag-delete that item, I will shift the contents one position to the left, given that particular position. So I will try to say shift left, get the position of the item, and I will shift the position, shift the contents at that given position, provided that the position is not equal to -1 because the item is already confirmed to be in the list. So ako saan gi-confirm nga naa din na ang item. So kung confirm nga naa din na ang item, then I will shift given that particular position of that item. So yun ko, shift left, get position item. Wow, gikausara. Anong na-error? Okay, so yun na ko retval equals to true. Otherwise, if the item is not in here, then I can say system.out.println the item is not found in the list. Just a verification nga ang imong item nga gipa-delete wala din ha. Sa otherwise, another possibility is that the list is empty. So I'll be copying this one. The list is empty and then return the value retval. Lam nagikitag understanding ani nga code ha. Nasabtan kani nga code? I do hope nasabtan ha. Hana gina si data structures. And then remove at. Okay, so last one, not the last one, second to the last one kay na from data iterator sa. So remove at. So remove at a given position. So the same concept applies. Check nato kung empty ba. Kung dili gani empty, then we will search at the position. Ay, ato pa din i-verify kung sakto ba na nga position ang I. Kay basig sayop na iyang gihatag nga position. So, sumingon ko diri Boolean, retval, set this one to false. If not is empty, kung dili empty, then I will try to check the value of I. So if I is greater than or equal to 0 and I is less than last minus 1, kung sakto lang na siya, then I will try to shift left at the position I. Retval equals to true. Otherwise, kung ang I kay sayop, dili na siya in the range from 0 to last minus 1, then that therefore is an invalid location. So I can say system.out.println invalid location. Otherwise, kung dili kung empty, nasad ni, copy nasad ni, paste din ni. Else, the list is empty, cannot remove. Asay. Makaluya. Sige, padayon ta ha. Balik ta diri sa ato ang test. Sa atong test, si 6, 7, 8, 9. Remove front, remove rear. So, case 6. Case 6. Tara. Case 6. So, case 6. This is remove front. So sa remove front, kita mga yung item nga itong i-remove. Sa rather, we will try to say remove front. It's rata, remove front. Yeah, dayon, if it was successful, so yung item successfully removed. Remove front. Sunod, case 7, remove rear. So remove rear. Samingon ta, if L1 that remove rear, wala ni item. So item successfully removed. Item dere kay front man sa item at front successfully removed. Dere item at rear successfully removed. Okay. So after remove front and remove rear, so remove. So number 8, case 8, remove. So si remove, mangayo tawag item nga atong i-remove. Item to be removed. So mingon dayon ta console.next int, tapos mingon ta L1.remove item. So ato na nang i-remove ang item. So if successful, item successfully removed. And then the last one was remove at a specific position. So case 9, remove at a specific position. So let me copy this one. This is case number 9. Remove at. So mga sa taog location, please enter location to be removed. So ngayon sa loc is equal to console.nextInt. Yeah, dayon L1 that remove at hatag ta sa location. So, item successfully removed. Kapas ra? Hanggang kayo. Up to 17 ang menu. Sige. So F11.
Sir, pwede mga yung copy.
Sige makughatag aning atong code. Ato man ang i-upload dito sa GC ron. Sa kuan Google Drive.
Sir.
So list. So add number 1, add 10, number 2, number 1, add na po tag 20. Add tag 60. Display. Sinig-display na to. Nara 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So remove rare. Number 7, remove rare. 7, remove rare. Removal successful. So when we display, wala ng 60. How about remove at location number 1? So atong tangtangon nas 20. Remove at. So number 9, remove at location 1. So item successfully removed. So i-display na to, dapat na remove na to si 20. Nawagtang si 20. So let me stop the code. Kamo na like testing ang nagtiwas. Basta more likely managa na siya. There is one part of the discussion that we have not yet included. That is the discussion of the iterator. Ano si iterator? Iterator. So kaya pa may napuno diri kaning last nga method. Right click, hindi mo ka right click. Ni-load ba? Ano si iterator? So right click. Ilan mo right click. Nilag na ko. Okay. Sa pen, sa kanisa si iterator, manay wala pa nato. Kinsa man is iterator, sir? Anong naman na si iterator? Kana si iterator is an additional option that can be added in the list implementation. So let's try to look into the definition of an iterator. So an iterator is an object that allows the elements of a collection to be visited at least once. Visited one at a time. So gamiton din na siya pang visit. Sa example, mag-print ka og values, you can use the iterator. For a list, an iterator would allow the client code to go through each element of the list without knowing the internal representation of the collection. Since the list, unlike a stack and queue, puts no restriction in the order by which the elements are accessed, an implementation of a list should support an iterator. So the iterator interface, iterator interface daan sa for which we are going to implement. So which is the iterator interface, we have to include a function called elements that returns an iterator. Return dahil ko siya og iterator. So for which the iterator interface has the following methods. So it has Boolean has next, returns true if the iteration has more elements, object next returns the next element in the iteration, and void remove, which remove the underlying collection at the last element returned by the iterator, and this is also optional. So let's try to create the iterator. Okay. So for the iterator, we will try to include java.util man tingali. Dili diri adto sa atong main code. So this is the list ADT implemented in array. So util that tumingol lang kog asterisk kay para ma-include na sila tanan. Okay. Import java.util.asterisk. Now I will try to create my own iterator class at the bottom part that will try to implement the iterator. So ngayon ko public class list array iterator. This is my list array. This is an internal class ha. Anong class nga nasulod sa lain nga class. Inner class ang tawag nato diyan sa inner class. List array iterator implements the iterator code, implements the iterator. So for the list array which is going to implement the iterator, makinahanglan mo implement aning tulo. Boolean has next, sumingon ta diri public boolean has next. Another method is the object next. So we say public object next. And another method, void remove. Public void remove. Now take note, the remove is optional. Pwede ra na nato dili i-implement. So we will try to have the iterator I variable. So we say private int I, which will start at 0. So kung napa siya sunod, so antaan na ito paghibaw nga napa siya sunod. Kung si I is less than sa ato ang last, sumingon ta dere, napa na siya sunod kung si I is less than last. So return I is less than last. Ha? Kung si I less than last, naman tayo last dito sa gawas. Public object next. So, ang iyang sunod nga next, so atong i-return ani, ang i-return ang items index I++. Kana. The items index I is the current value, pero items index I++ is the next value. Remove, which will remove the item. So kani si remove, pwede ra ka mo tawag aning object nga kaning remove. Pwede ra nimo tawagon. Ani remove at a specific position. Ani. Mo remove ka nya, imong i-remove at I. Di ka mingon ana remove I. Ay mo ipadala si I. Remove at I. But this one is optional. This is not required. But you can say remove at I. So when you try to use the iterator, you can instantiate the iterator class that you have created. So pwede ka mingon public iterator. I say iterator. So that is my method name. Iterator is this one. Iterator is the method name that will instantiate the iterator. So mingon lang ko diri return new list array instantiate ko iterator. This one. List array iterator. Pero mga lagi kay kinahanglan ta mo implement sa method nga sa man to nga method. Sa ito nga method. Elements. We have included a function called elements that returns an iterator. Anyways, this is not, usually gamiton lang ni siya pang printing sa mga value. Pwede rin siya dili itiwas. So if you want, let's try to add the iterator elements. Pwede rin na siya dari eh. Add tong method nga, add the method to iterator. Yun lang ko dari. Nas pirmahanan eh. Public iterator elements. Ito. Public iterator elements which will return a null value. Okay, murag okay na ni siya. Anyways, this is just warning. Okay rin na siya. So, F9. Ano ito siya? Okay raman, madagan raman. So, that is the list. Okay, that is the list ADT. So, sama atong sunod aniha. So, let me try to, let me check on the Google Drive to upload the code as well as also take note also of the next assignment, that is assignment number 8. That is the statistician implementation. So what is the statistician implementation? Mumirma ko alas 2. Ano sila? So this is the next assignment sa kani. Statistician implementation. So the statistician implementation, familiar man tingay mo ng statistics sa? This is the statistician interface. So you have the following methods. Ano siya? Method 5. Method add. So kaning add, kopyatong add nga naa sa list. Sa? Or pwede mo inherit mo atong list kay para matawag ninyo ang add. Kani si add, si remove o si contains. Meaning maka-add mo og item, maka-remove mo og item, maka-check mo kung naa ba ang item. Sa? So kani siya, these three you get from the list ADT. Naman na sa list nga abstract data type. You can use the list ADT. Sa? So you can use the list ADT. And then you implement the methods in here that we use in statistics. Sum is the sum of all the values that are in your list. Product, so that is you try to multiply the items, all the items in your list. Smallest, this will search the smallest item in your list. This will search the smallest item in your list, smallest. Then you also have largest, so this will return the largest value in your list. Range, what is the range in statistics? In statistics, sa statistics, unsa man ang range? That is the largest value minus the smallest value. Sa? Nangagi natin mong statistics. Median, mean, mode, standard deviation, count, remove the smallest and remove largest. So kanita nang kamoy mo implement. This one you can extract coming from the list abstract data type. That is the activity 4 the assignment 8, the statistician implementation. So you can open this one and then you can see the statistician interface. Kani siya nga interface. Ano siya nga interface? Sama na siya ang naa dito. So again, kani siyang tulo, pwede ninyo gamiton katong coming from the list abstract data type. So that you can use, I will upload it in the Google Drive. So let me try to create a new folder in here. Let me name this one as the list. List. Okay, so let me try to go into our folder so that I can drag the contents in here. CPE 221 list. Source list. Okay. Now it's uploading. So you can use the list array implementation in doing the statistician na assignment. So let me check this one ha. Let me try to edit the settings. So I'll give you 2 weeks to implement the list code. So this is going to due on May 9. So this is due on May 9. Ilag na. Ang-close na ni B. Okay, so ato na ipang-close. So this is now going to due on May 9. 2 weeks. Okay, so May 9 na. How about katong previous? Kaning Q. Ang Q was last week sa. So ang iyang deadline ani is by April 30. April 30 ang deadline sa Q. Ano mo lang na yung buhaton nun? Sa Q o list. So by next meeting, our next topic will be about nonlinear data structures na. So sugod na ta aning trees. Binary tree, trees in general, and then binary tree. So daghan pa nagklase din nga tree. So that is our target for nonlinear, and then also we will try to include other nonlinear data structures. Sige. So let me close this one. Was the upload complete? Yes, the upload was complete. Any questions so far? Questions? Clarifications?
Butangan sa dogmin na ang concert.
Ang
Statistic.
butangan. Oh, yes.
Sir.
What a new test. Questions other than the question of Marwin? Any other question? Sige. So wala na may question. Ako lang i-stop ang akong presentation. Kindly turn on your cameras again before we go. On your cam. Pictorial na ta.